Hi, my name's Brian Devine. I'm the senior mathematics instructor and one of the curriculum developers here at Hamilton Education. I've been working with Mr. Hamilton for almost 10 years now as a mathematics teacher, and I helped him develop the programs for AP calculus testing, mathematics testing, and the SAT, the ACT. But one of the things I specialize in is the SAT subject test, the Math 2C test, which is a very important test for students that plan to go into STEM careers. In fact, most major colleges require that you take the SAT Math 2C when you apply to their university. The Math 2C is a very interesting test. It's actually a pretty easy test to get a perfect score on. It's a 50-question test in an hour, and the C part of Math 2C is the best part. You get to use a calculator during the entire test. And the type of calculator that you use is open. I mean, there are certain types of calculators like the TI Inspire, which has a computer algebraic system built into it. It does all the work for you. So if you know how to use your calculator, you can get a perfect score, which is a wonderful thing. The scoring on the Math 2C is one of the most lenient of all of the standardized tests. You don't even have to answer all the questions, and you can get a perfect score. You can answer 90% of the questions. Omit 5 of them. Don't even answer them. If you get those 45 right, you're going to get an 800, which is it's a most beautiful thing. Where else can you get a deal like this but in America? Now, what do you need for the Math 2C? You need to have paid attention in high school mathematics. That's pretty much it. If you paid attention, you have the potential to do well. If you did well in integrated mathematics or algebra classes, geometry classes, pre-calculus classes, you should be able to kill this test without any problem. Now, one of the things that we do here at Hamilton is we provide classes in the fall, in the spring, and even tutoring, targeting in the summer and the winter for this particular test. It's given, oh golly, 6 times every year. Usually people take it at the end of their school year when they've had a full year of mathematics. It makes it a little bit easier, and it's something to do before you kick off that summer vacation. There's no better way to kick off a vacation than to get a perfect score on a math test. Here at Hamilton, we offer a prep class in the Math 2C. In fact, it's based on taking the test. College Board, who does the SAT, also does the Math 2C, and they ask their questions in a pretty particular way. Although the Math 2C doesn't have any of the trickiness that the SAT was. It's simply a do this, do that, think about this, think about that, which of these makes the best sense type of test. We offer an 8-week program here at Hamilton. We can stretch that into 10 weeks with individual tutoring. Geared towards the test, we start the program mid-March, gearing up for the June test. The Memorial Day weekend is the last test of the school year. And for the last 10 years that I've worked with Mr. Hamilton, we've averaged 20 to 30 students in this class every year. Now, some take it in the fall, some take it in the summertime, and so we do offer it a few times a year. The testing involved in the class is strictly the testing that you're going to see. We try to inoculate you, as it were, to the test to get you prepared for the type of questions. We prepare you heavily in concept. In fact, the classes go as follows. You come in, you take a test for an hour, and then for the next hour, we review that test. We go over every mistake. We go over some tricky problems. We might go over problems you don't even ask about, just because they're exemplary of the type of problems that are always asked on the test. And then during the last hour, we get involved in a lesson that may be particular to the test. The breakdown of the test is about 40% of the questions. So 20 of the questions are going to be strictly on algebra. Do this, do that kind of things. About 30% of the test, maybe 35%, so this is going to be 15 to 18 questions, are on geometry. Now that geometry also includes trigonometry, it includes plane geometry, solid geometry, and it includes ideas of logic as well, which you might think That's not geometry, but it is the basis of mathematics, and so you're tested on it. And then you're going to have about 10-15% of the test is on light statistics, mean, median, mode, range, those ideas. And then you might have 1 or 2 probability questions. 5 or 6 of the questions are number theory questions, or questions about divisibility, or questions about maybe groups, or light subjects, discrete subjects that you would have come across in a secondary education, but maybe weren't emphasized. Well, we emphasize those. We also emphasize matrix theory. We emphasize probability. We emphasize number theory. We emphasize algebra. We emphasize function analysis. We emphasize geometry. We emphasize trigonometry. We teach concept. We enrich your foundation. We make you smarter. And thus, if you're smarter, that perfect score is that much easier. Now, I'll come back to it. Part of the trick of taking this test is knowing how the test works. You get 1 point for every one you get right. You get no points for any omissions, but you lose a quarter point for ones that you answer but get wrong. So you can see how you can get a perfect score on this without ever having to answer all the questions. Pick the 5 hardest questions, the ones you don't think you can answer. You can set those aside and then answer all the other ones. It's an 800. You can miss 3 or 4, and if you've answered all of them, and still get an 800. All you have to do is collect 45 points total, which is a beautiful thing. God bless America.